So at Arrowhead Church, the place where I serve as the operations pastor, we're a young church, probably about 10 years old, and we have a demographic that spans so many different ages. But one thing we've noticed with all of them, even as long as 7, 8 years ago, is all of them have smartphones. We're a really connected suburban town. And so for us, it's been really important to be able to meet people where they are, and where they are is their phones pretty often. So actually one of the reasons that we chose Subsplash when we were searching for a mobile app platform was because it was really easy to use, not only as like a staff member like myself who's familiar with tech a little bit, but also for our volunteers. So for example, we have volunteers at multiple congregations who are uploading sermon content, they're updating things on the app, and they have their own login, they have their own permissions, and all I really have to do is just check it and make sure that it was done correctly. I don't have to help them. It's just really straightforward and easy for anyone to be able to figure out and to use. So one of the things that I love about Subsplash is there's so much customability. So we could really make our app anything that we wanted it to be, and we had to really think through, how do we want this to work and who do we want this to be for? And for us, we were thinking the primary person who's going to be using the Arrowhead Church app, they like our church, right? Like they're familiar with who we are, they like listening to us, and so we're going to design the app for that person, less like a welcome mat, less like the front door, and more like you're in the building, right? You're already here. And so the content that we've put on there that we really focus on, that's going to be sermons, it's going to be upcoming events. If you want to join a group, if you want to give, literally anything that someone who is engaged in the church or who might want to be engaged in the church, that's who we've designed the app to do. And we didn't have to do that. Like on Subsplash, you have so many options for how it works and what it does. And although we started thinking this is primarily for sermon delivery, it's become something that's really just like an asset, a tool for anyone who's involved here at Arrowhead. So you do get a lot of customization in how you design your app and the way it looks. And for us, we wanted it to feel like you were at our actual church, one of our congregations. So we used a lot of photography. When you load we call it the church page. It's basically the homepage of our app, and that's the first thing that pops up. You're going to see faces on there of people who you might actually run into if you ever came into our building. And we're updating those all the time, but we wanted it to feel relevant. We want it to feel like a real church, because you're already using a piece of technology, so there's already 1 degree of separation from what a church community really is, right? And this is not to replace that, but it is to remind you that you are engaging with something that's much larger, that's a larger body, a larger community. So having this great mobile app that I really like, our staff really likes, if that's all it was, just something that the staff was using, it really wouldn't be doing its job. It's helpful to see in the analytics in the Subsplash dashboard, people are using it, right? They're using it every single day by the hundreds. Because you can do so much on Subsplash in the way that you create your apps and what kind of content you put up on there and how you organize it, it can feel really overwhelming, especially getting started. And my recommendation, if you're just getting started, it's just do something. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to create this massive app that recreates every function organizationally of your church, but you just need to start somewhere. For us, that was our sermons. So we started, the very first thing that we did was we just said we want to place a sermon archive where people can come, they can find yesterday's sermon, or they can go all the way back to something 2 years ago, and they know it's going to be here on the app. That's where we started, and over the years, we've learned how to use the platform better. We've brought additional people onto our team who can help with it, and now it's something that's much more capable. It's much bigger than it was initially. So don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have to make this massive full-featured app right out the gate. Just start somewhere.